I'm sure that by now you guys have seen that they finally rescued the astronauts who have been stuck on the International Space Station for what seems like forever. And for those of you all who don't know, I was one of the first people on YouTube to actually report on this story. And I gotta say that I'm disappointed by a lot of the news coverage surrounding the return of these astronauts, because everyone has failed to mention what they were really up there doing research on. Ladies and gentlemen, I made several videos of this or about this over the past 6, 7, or 8 months. But the astronauts, amongst other things, they were up there doing research on a superbug. A superbug that is immune to all man-made medicines. A superbug that was mutating and evolving in outer space on the International Space Station. I kid you not. This is not a conspiracy. This is fact. I don't know why no one's talking about it, but I'm hoping they did not bring that superbug back with them. But anyways, that's not what I'm really here to talk about today. As I stated, I've already made several videos about this. You can go check them out, or maybe I'll make another video about it in the future. But now that the astronauts are back home, we have another crazy story. This time, not involving space, but involving another mysterious area, that area being Antarctica, however you want to say it. Apparently, there's a team of scientists, South African scientists, and they are in this remote part of Antarctica. No one can get to them. They're supposed to be there doing research for like months and months on end, right? Well, one of the scientists has gone crazy. He started attacking his fellow teammates. He's even essayed, maybe even downright R-worded, if you know what I mean, some of the women out there on the mission. And apparently there's nothing they can do with this guy. I guess they can't, subdue him and put him in a little mini makeshift jail. I don't know, but they are sending emergency messages out trying to get help, and it doesn't look like help is coming, and they think this guy is going to wind up killing all of them. It's some scary stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right into some of the information that has been provided thus far. Scientists trapped in Antarctica as violence breaks out. A group of South African scientists has pleaded for help, saying they are trapped in an isolated base on a cliff in Antarctica with a team member who has become extremely violent. One of the team has been accused of assault and threatening violence against his colleagues, according to the South African newspaper, the Sunday Times. South Africa's environment minister confirmed that an attack had already taken place. The overwintering team, a group that remains in a remote and extreme environment during winter months, knew that 10 of their 15 months at the base would be spent in total isolation. But now, they may be in danger from one of their own members who has been accused of being totally mentally unstable. Members have undergone psychometric tests to ensure they could withstand the stress of this isolation. But the Department of Forestry, Fisheries, and the Environment, which manages the South African National Antarctic Program, now plans to try to retest them in the future. South Africa's isolated Sinai IV Antarctic base is cut off from the world for the next 10 months because of the winter weather. A member of the overwintering team has reportedly sent an email to the South African government accusing another team member of physical and SA. His behavior has become increasingly egregious, and I am experiencing significant difficulty in feeling secure in his presence, the email said. It is imperative that immediate action is taken to ensure my safety and the safety of all of my colleagues. The writer called the man's behavior deeply disturbing and said he had created an environment of fear and intimidation. I remain deeply concerned about my own safety, constantly wondering if I might become his next victim. Concerns had been raised about this team member's behavior before this point, the Sunday Times reports, when there was still an opportunity for the SA, or the South African Agulhas, to evacuate the team member before it departed Antarctica. The only way to leave the base now is through emergency medical evacuation to a German base around 186 miles away, according to the sources with inside knowledge about this base. They had all the time to remedy the situation, but they simply buried their heads in the sand hoping that it would go away. They were informed about the problem as early as December. South African Environment Minister Deon George confirmed that an attack had already taken place. He said he would be talking with team members to assess for himself. There was a verbal altercation as well between the team leader and this person, he said. Then it escalated, and then that person did physically attack the leader. You can imagine what it's like. It's close quarters, and people do get cabin fever. It can be very disorienting. The DFFE communications chief says that the department is responding to these concerns with the utmost urgency and have had a number of interventions with all parties concerned at the base. A full investigation is being commissioned, and the department will act accordingly in relation to any wrong conduct against any official that has misconducted themselves, he added. During this unforeseen incident, the department is engaging with the professional that undertook the psychometric evaluation to have the overwinterers reassessed and to assist with coping mechanisms during their time at the base, inclusive of conflict resolution strategies, interpersonal skills improvement, as well as overall counseling and support. So, long story short, basically, they're not doing anything at all to help. Oh, we're communicating and we're gonna reassess. Basically, they're FaceTiming these people who are in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica, and they're doing mental evaluations on this guy that's going crazy over FaceTime. And they're acting like that's going to help. No, it's not going to help. These people are stranded in Antarctica. They can't run away from this guy because they will literally freeze to death, right? So this guy is just wreaking havoc. And mind you, they cannot, or I can't say everything in this video that has taken place. I hope you guys know what SA means. This dude's literally like messing with the women, touching the women, doing inappropriate things to the women. He's beating up the guys. And it's not funny, it's scary, but there's nothing they can do about it. And from what they say, they warned before this winter season came, right? Back when they still had more teammates at this remote facility. They warned them that, hey, this guy's kind of going crazy. We need you to get his ass out of here. Take his ass home. And they didn't. They left him. And now he's going even more crazy. And they're giving them a bunch of word salad mumbo jumbo that doesn't help anything. Oh, yeah, he's going to suffer the consequences and we're going to handle things appropriately. When? In like 10 freaking months? They still have to be out there with this guy for 10 months unless they stage some emergency evacuation, which right now, it doesn't look like they're going to do. Because if they were going to do that, they wouldn't be talking the word salad mumbo jumbo of we're doing psychometric tests and we're going to reevaluate. No, this guy is literally essaying the women, beating up the dudes, going crazy, probably about to throw them off an Antarctic cliff to be fed to polar bears, dude. Get this guy out of here. But they're trapped. They're trapped. And nothing's being done about it currently. And I could sit here for 8 hours straight just talking about a lot of the weird stuff that goes on in Antarctica. They're not out there for no reason. They're doing weird research out there in remote facilities. And I just encourage you all, if you're interested, do some research on some of the stuff that's happening out there or some of the stuff that's happened out there in the past. Look at like what Hitler and the Nazis went and tried to discover in Antarctica. And the Russians. There's so much just weird stuff that goes on out there. And I mean, I'm really wondering what drove this guy crazy and what are they really seeing out? What are they researching? But right now, they're not getting any help. And it looks like by the time they get help, it may be too late. Because when you're trapped in this remote area and you're not suffering any consequences for your actions and you're freely just attacking people, having your way with the women and whatever, I mean, the guy's only going to get even more emboldened and go more crazy. It's not like he's going to wake up tomorrow and feel great. Sorry, guys. Sorry I essayed y'all. I'm sorry I beat all y'all up. My apologies. Let's get back to this research. That's not how this works. The guy's going to go even crazier as he's isolated even more. So this is probably going to end up being a true crime story in the future. But you heard this story here first. Don't forget that. Hit that thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.